Did you ever have one of those days where nothing just seems to be going right? Today is one of those days. Hey guys, it's Adrian. Welcome to my channel, and despite technical difficulties that have been going on all morning, I am here to bring you my September wrap-up. No, I am not here to bring you my September wrap-up. Yes, I am. I am here to bring you my September wrap-up. Oh, for the love of God. I read a total of 5 books in September, which is pretty good because I feel like I've been having kind of a slower reading month. I've been really busy, so I haven't had a lot of time to read, and I feel like every time I sat down to read the book that I was feeling a little bit guilty because I had other things that needed to be done, like cleaning my house. But anyway, let's jump right into it because I'm rambling and this is just not off to a good start. First up on my September TBR was a carryover from my August TBR, and I didn't get to finish in the month of August. I had about 100 pages left, so I finished it in the first 2 days of September, and that is Unbreakable by Norris. This is the second book to the Unravelling Duology, and I did a whole review on this entire series, a spoiler-free review, so if you're interested, you can go check that out, and you can learn more of my thoughts. This book got a 3.5, maybe a 4 stars, but I'm gonna lean more towards 3.5. I like this book. It was good. It didn't live up to the first book though. I enjoyed the first book much better. I found the main character, Janelle, to be a little bit unbelievable in this book. I also didn't find the romance very believable in this book, but interesting things did happen. But like I said, for more information on my thoughts and opinions, go check out my spoiler-free review. Next up was another carryover from my June, July, and August TBR, because I had to keep putting it down, and that was The Hero of Ages by Sanderson. I finally finished it. Somebody say hallelujah. This is the 3rd book in the Mistborn series, and I gotta say, I wasn't a huge fan of this book. I loved the end. Sanderson has a way with endings. I don't think I have ever read a more masterful ending to a book. He just has a way with endings. But because of that, his books are very dense, very difficult to get through, and this is not a book that you can just read a few pages here and a few pages there, because you really need to get into it and understand it. And don't get me wrong, I loved it. I loved the series. This book still got 4 stars from me. But because it was kind of slow in the beginning, and because it took me 3 months to get through, and it wasn't even the book's fault, it was my own fault, but I just couldn't enjoy it as much. I did love the series. The series as a whole gets 4.5 stars for me. I love this book. I love the ending of this book. I especially loved how did anybody know how to say his name? Anyway, I loved his character in this book. I love the character development that he personally went through. So I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite book. My favorite book in the series was The Well of Ascension. Definitely. I love that book. But I am very excited to read more Sanderson books. I was thinking about doing a series review, a spoiler-free part and a spoilery part, but everybody has read this already. But if you're still interested, let me know in the comments below, because I'd be more than happy to do one. I'm just not going to do it if there's no interest in it. Next up, I read The School for Good and Evil, A World Without Princes by Sanaan Chinani. This is book 2 in the School for Good and Evil trilogy. I think there's a 4th book coming out. I'm not entirely sure about that. I have an entire review about The School for Good and Evil and what I liked about it and what I found problematic about it, especially as a middle grade. I've talked about that a couple times on my channel, but if you want to know more about that, again, go see the spoiler-free review. I read this one hoping that things would kind of solve themselves, and I didn't get it. I'm still on the fence if I want to finish the series or if I'm going to just leave it at what it is. I'm hoping that some of these problematic things get solved. I find these books for young teenagers kind of confusing. This one I found as an adult kind of confusing. So I don't know if it was the writing. I know that there are definitely some good things about gender identity in here that could be helpful, but they were just too confusing. So I'm not a huge fan. I still have hope that they'll all resolve themselves. If any of you have seen my review and you've read these books, let me know if the 3rd book is worth reading or not, if you think I should just leave it at what it is, because this is definitely not a book that I would let my young teenager read, but that's just me personally as a parent. Like I always say, my opinions are my opinions, and just because I won't let my kids read them doesn't mean that your kids shouldn't. It's just me judging them as mom, because that's what I do. But anyway, wasn't a big fan, gave this book a 2.75. The next two books are books that you probably already have seen in my October TBR. I carried them over because I haven't finished them yet. The first one is The Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Infernal Devices trilogy. It follows Tessa and Will and Jem on their continuing journey with the Shadowhunters and the Downworlders. I can't tell you anything else because it's the second book in a series, but I love this book. I forgot how much I really love this series. I love that everybody's so sarcastic and witty, and I love the character developments, and I love especially the richness between the difference between Will and Jem and Tessa. I think this is probably going to be one of my favorite series this year. So far, so good. We'll see how that goes. Stay tuned for my October wrap-up to know more. And lastly is An Echo in the Bone by Diana Gabaldon. This is book number 7 in the Outlander series. These are huge books. I have been going back and forth with this one with audio, mostly audio, and every now and then I read a chapter from the actual book. But I've been really busy lately, so I've had a lot of time to listen to audiobooks. So I got pretty far. I'm a good 2/3 in, and I'm on page 448. So that's pretty good, I'd say. I am very much enjoying this book. I love to see how things are progressing. I will say with this one, we're introduced to some new perspectives that I am not really enjoying very much though. And I find their perspectives to be kind of confusing and jumpy. I don't know if it's because of the audiobook and I'm busy and maybe I don't have complete attention, although I feel like I do for the other characters. So I feel like these characters are not just done well, they're also kind of, they're not new characters, but we've never seen part of the story from their perspective before, and I don't like it. But I do know that Diana Gabaldon usually has a reason for these things, and where I am now, I can kind of see their stories all coming together, so I am curious to see how they play out. Hopefully my opinion will change at the end of the book. Hopefully I can forgive the fact that they were confusing because the ending was fantastic. But again, you have to stay tuned for my October wrap-up to be able to know what I think at the end. So that's it for all the books that I read in the month of September. I feel like I've had better months, but you know what? The books that I've read this month, I've read more than 400 pages of, whether they were continuations of books or books from start to finish. So I'm pretty happy. I've read quite the sum of pages this month, especially for being so busy. You know how it goes. I feel like in the fall I'm always a step behind. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, and it's just, I'm sluggish. I don't know what it is. I'm just busy. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're new here, I'd love it if you subscribe and let me know who you are down in the comments below so I can make new friends, because making new friends is awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.